Hi, my name is Megan White, and I will be doing my presentation on if parents should be held responsible for childhood obesity. My personal thoughts on childhood obesity stem from witnessing the effects of obesity firsthand through my grandmother. Childhood obesity is a growing epidemic in the world that needs to be solved in some way, shape, or form. I believe that childhood obesity begins with the parents. Parents who are overweight often seem to reflect their bad eating and activity behaviors on their children to the point where the children mimic these behaviors. Children tend to try and emulate the behaviors of their children, which is why, when the parent is overweight, more than likely, their kid will be also. Childhood obesity is such an important topic of discussion because children suffering from childhood obesity are more likely to become overweight adults. Being overweight can lead to many chronic illnesses, including diabetes and hypertension. By controlling what children eat and raising awareness of the detrimental consequences of childhood obesity, we can live in a healthier world with healthier people. Different actions, such as intervention programs, enacting nutritional curriculum, and teaching parents how to control their children's eating patterns and their own, can lower the rate of childhood obesity. I have added a slide about things to consider before I go deeper into my discussion. So the body's metabolism is less equipped to handle sugary food in a sedentary lifestyle than a famine. This means that the body can handle food deprivation more than it can handle an overabundance of food. That goes to show that the body does not need as much food as some people think that it might. Children's eating and food habits are learned from their family environment by the age of 2 or 3. These children are eating food based on what their parents are eating. So if their parents are eating unhealthy foods, then so will they. Children who are obese are more likely to be obese adults, which can raise concern for acquiring chronic diseases. Children in this current generation have a shorter lifespan than their parents. This statement displays the troubling notion that childhood obesity is real and much worse than ever. Obese children can display physical symptoms of high blood pressure, dyslipidemia, and much more at just the age of 5. Children at this age do not have the control to make decisions about their eating habits. And lastly, about 1 in 5 children have to cope with childhood obesity. If there are 30 kids in a classroom, that means that potentially 6 children in that classroom would be obese. That is 6 too many. So are parents the problem? Parents shape their children's habits from dietary practices, physical activity, sedentary behaviors, and their overall weight status. Parents' own behaviors, from eating to physical activity, can contribute to their children being overweight. If both your parents watch TV as a pastime, then less time is spent doing other things that can contribute to a healthier lifestyle. Obesity runs in families, not because there is such a thing as a fat gene, but because children view their parents as role models and try to emulate their behaviors. Children with obese parents are more predisposed to being overweight. However, that does not mean that they are destined to be. Childhood obesity can be equated with parental abuse and neglect. I will tell a story about that towards the end of my presentation. Children whose mothers gain too much weight during their pregnancy have a 28% chance of being overweight by the age of 6. People do not realize that what women eat and drink during pregnancy has huge implications on their children. And lastly, there has been increased amounts of screen time in today's youth with a decrease in physical activity. Parents should monitor their kids' screen time and make sure to encourage them to go outside and get active. A study shown by UCFF displays that a child has 50% chance of being obese if one of their parents is obese, and an 80% chance if both their parents are obese. That's a huge percentage of children that have the possibility of being overweight just depending on the parent's weight status. Who else can be to blame for childhood obesity? There is a lack thereof of community-wide programs and policies that focus on decreasing the rise in childhood obesity. Different programs, such as NFL's Play 60, were initiated to help children get moving. However, these programs have been made known to only a certain population of children. Schools are great places to help prevent and control childhood obesity. PE programs should be mandatory across schools worldwide. Meals in the cafeteria should offer healthier options. Michelle Obama tried to start that initiative. And health classes should also be offered to children in the school systems. When I was in elementary school and middle school, we never had a health class to talk about nutrition or the importance of exercise. The government should consider childhood obesity a matter of public health. Programs have been enacted by the government, such as Supplemental Nutrition Assistant Programs, or SNAP, and Adult Care Food Program, CACFP. Childhood obesity should also be seen as a medical problem. While doctors do not directly correlate to childhood obesity rates, they do have the power to be upfront and honest with their patients about the unsafe conditions of being overweight. Many doctors try to downplay being overweight by providing a simple paper stating ways to eat better, when they should really be having discussions about the severity of people's weight and what they can do to prevent furthering it. After the research I have collected, my opinion stays the same on childhood obesity. There are many sources that can contribute to the obesity epidemic in children. However, I believe the main source to be familial. Children are predisposed to the behaviors of their parents, which is why they should be accountable for their children's health. Certain cases around the world have resulted in the parents being arrested. For instance, the story of Alexander Draper. According to the DePaul Journal of Healthcare Law, a child's mother was arrested for criminal neglect after he weighed in at 555 pounds at the age of 14. When children are placed in foster care, like Alex was, they tend to lose weight when they set on a diet program. Actions of parents have huge implications on their children. A study from Parental Influence on Childhood Obesity, a review, displayed that parents with overweight children had the lowest accuracy of assessing their children's weight with a 10.5% accuracy rate, meaning that these parents' perspective did not recognize their children as being obese. Young children have no say in what they eat. Parents are the ones ultimately responsible for making decisions regarding their child's health. There are certain steps that can be taken to try and decrease the rise in childhood obesity. Eating healthy dinners together as a family at home can help promote healthy eating patterns in children and cause parents to think about what they are also eating. Breastfeeding infants can help regulate the child's food intake. Parents limiting their child's screen time and encouraging physical activity can also be beneficial. Parents getting more involved in their child's lives and being active with them can help promote a healthier lifestyle, such as eating healthier and watching their kids' food habits. More communal programs aimed at decreasing childhood obesity, and lastly, more medical awareness about the consequences of childhood obesity in the long run would be greatly beneficial to reducing this epidemic. Here's my citation page where all my resources are from. Thank you for watching.